Tim Legler is back with us to talk about both games. We'll get to Boston and Philly in a bit. You told me last night you want to see Durant be the best player on the floor. It's going to be hard to do if Booker decides he wants to go for 47 every night. Look, Durant's box score wasn't great, as Michael Malone just alluded to, but still, it's going to be rare that he goes for 39 and is the second leading scorer. What has Booker elevated? Because Durant's right. I mean, I wasn't suggesting this is new, but I do feel like him going for 40-something every other game is new. There's like a new level here. What's it been?
The first thing that's standing out to me about Devin Booker is he's reading every single offensive situation the right way. Mm-hmm. Like he's getting to the mid-range when he's supposed to.
Right.
He's taking the extra dribble to get then an angle on somebody to get the rim when he's supposed to. He's hitting the three-point shot off the ball screen or off out of the backcourt in transition, which you heard Mike Malone allude to. It sounded like Mike Malone feels like they're not doing the job that they're talking about on Devin Booker. I think you're going to see an adjustment in Game 4. But this guy's rhythm right now is the best of any player in the postseason. Like this guy, night in, night out, the consistency with which he is playing and the hunger with which he is playing with are unmatched right now in the league.
Look at the numbers there.
Insane.
20 of 25. It's not just that it's 47. 20 of 25. It's just so efficient. And I always say he makes it look easy. We know he's working his butt off, but he makes it look so easy. I would imagine Denver's emphasis is that let's at least make it difficult on him.
Right. So I think now they're at the point where you're going to see something dramatically different, I think, in Game 4. They cannot continue to allow him to operate with a live dribble in space to get to these spots on the floor. I mean, this might be the best mid-range jump shooter in the league, and he's getting to those spots when he wants to. I mean, some of them are high degree of difficulty, but not for a great player when they're already lathered up. And when he's got it going, now these are easy shots, even though they look hard to us when we're watching the game. You're going to see some blitzes on him. You're going to see some guys get up on him a little bit up the court as he comes over the half-court line just to slow down his progress because he's coming at you with the head of steam and stopping on a dime. They have to adjust now to Devin Booker, and maybe that's when we will see Kevin Durant, have one of those nights. He had big scoring night tonight but did not shoot well. Free throws got him going, though.
Just like you said.
Absolutely critical that he attacked the way he did in that second quarter to get to the line. Felt better about himself to see something go through. So that number adds up. As long as you get to it, even when you don't shoot well, that's key for a superstar.
Malone used the word fast. How important is pace to what Phoenix is trying to do?
Without a point guard, it's critical because you get up before they're in a half-court defense. Denver's a very good half-court defensive team. It takes some of the decision-making away from your ball handlers if you can get up the floor fast and catch Denver while they're still trying to match up in transition. He said Cameron Payne pushed the pace. He's absolutely right about that. But it was also anytime they got a defensive rebound, any wing that was running got the ball advanced. Whether it was Durant, whether it was Booker, those guys now had an initial surge. Doesn't always show up as a fast break point. And sometimes I don't even think they track that stuff properly. It's secondary offense out of that. Doesn't count as a fast break point. They did have 23 fast break points, which is a big number. They probably had another 15 to 20 of secondary break points because of that initial surge up the floor. And it takes some of the decision-making out of the equation, which is obviously a challenge for them without Chris Paul.
You got to win 4 games. There's no moral victories at this point. But I was impressed by a game where I expected Phoenix's best. You're getting 80-something from the 2 superstars. And yet, Denver still comes back, takes the lead, and they're still hanging around. They had about 3 different threes late in that fourth quarter. They were halfway down and come out. That impressed me that they were able to absorb all those punches and still keep it to within arm's length in the late fourth. Did you share that same view of Denver?
I do. And look, both of their stars still played very well. That's something that Mike Malone's happy to see. It's not like one of those guys had a bad night for some reason. They both played particularly well. I think the one thing that they weren't counting on, they got great contributions, Phoenix, out of some of these role players.
Yeah, Warren.
We talk about their depth all the time and what an issue it is. Cameron Payne was very good tonight. T.J. Warren been sitting there the whole postseason, comes in with 2 huge baskets late, and then Landale came in, gave them great minutes for DeAndre Ayton, just banging and being active and bothering Jokic. So this has been an issue for this team. We knew it all along. They don't have much to go to off their bench, but they got very timely contributions out of some other guys. It doesn't have to be a lot. It just has to be helpful, and it was very helpful tonight.
Right. I mean, I'm looking at I'm doing what they used to see the guys up there at the dais do. I mean, if you tell them that Ayton gets 4, that's not great. But you get 5 from Ross, 6 from Landale, 4 from Shamet, and 7 from Warren. I mean, doing quick math, that's 20-some-odd points from guys that you're not expecting them from. but you also got 80 some.
Yeah, but you get 80 from two other guys. That's plenty. That's
right.
all you need.
I'll go ahead and lean into those guys and believe that they're going to carry us as far as we're capable of going. You expected to see the aggression from Durant get to the line. If you have sort of a quick thumbnail sketch of what you think we'll see Sunday night in Game 4 in terms of what would be different, where would we land?
There has to be more of a concentrated effort to get the ball into Devin Booker's hands. I mean, he's just way too comfortable right now. Mike Malone already alluded to it. Phoenix can expect that, and I don't blame them. They should, because they lack ball handlers or playmakers. So maybe this is when that ball gets funneled out of his hands earlier and Kevin Durant finds his rhythm a little bit earlier in the game, because you can't double both guys effectively every trip. Right now you got to target one of them, and Booker is the guy that is absolutely killing you.
I say it all year long during the highlights. I love to watch the guy play basketball, and the ease with which he's the playoffs man against the 1 seed, 20 for 25. We welcome Kevin Durant to the show. Kevin, is Scott Van Pelt. Thanks for throwing a headset on and joining me after this victory. You and Book go for 86 combined. We thought you two together might be something just like this. Where has he elevated his game? He was a star before, but this playoffs we've seen something almost new. What are we seeing?
I don't know if there's anything new. I think he's been doing this since he stepped into the league. You know, he's been a high-volume, efficient scorer since day one. So this is another showing for him, another day at the office, and we fed off his energy tonight.
No doubt. 47 as he continues to be spectacular. Tim Legler suggested to me last night, Kevin, that after 2 games with, 6 free throws, he thought we might see that be a point of emphasis. I believe you had a dozen in the first half. How much was the idea of being aggressive and getting to the line something you were focusing on?
Yeah, I was definitely focusing on that. I didn't get my shot to go down early, so I just tried to get downhill as much as I can. And, you know, this team here, they step over and do a lot of mucking up in the paint. So I knew if I just went hard to the rim, I can get some free throws and get some easy points. So, you know, it was a great all-around team win for us.
Obviously, when you try to replace a Chris Paul, that's not going to be done by any one person. But how does the confidence in the group grow when the guys who step forward and are asked to give more than they were asked before deliver in the way they did in this game?
Yeah, it's a next man up mentality in the league, and we always we've been preaching. You know, they've been preaching that to us since day one. So guys just step up and make plays. I love how our bench played tonight. Jock played great minutes. TJ played great minutes and some big shots. Terrence played some great minutes. So Cam came in and stepped in for CP pretty well. So we got to keep this momentum going and get ready for Game 4.
And with that in mind, Kevin, you hold serve tonight. Book talked about it with Roz about defending the home floor. What makes this Denver team particularly difficult to get rid of? You guys built the lead. They got closer there, and then you really landed some punches there to start that fourth quarter and were able to get this victory.
Yeah, I mean, they're a deep team, well-rounded team. They got scorers that can make shots from all over the floor, so they never out the game, and I think we did a good job of staying poised.
Kevin, good luck on Sunday in Game 4. I appreciate you stopping.
All right.
It has gone final in the Desert West Finals, semifinals. Game number 3 between the Nuggets and the Suns, and it's the Suns hanging on to beat the Nuggets 121-114 in the story. It's all about Book and KD. Devin Booker, Kevin Durant combining for 86, shot all of the free throws for the Phoenix Suns. Booker with 47, Durant with 39, and can't forget about the Joker, Nikola Jokic, the 2-time MVP. 30, 17, and 17. Yes, he messed around and had a triple-double. Jamal Murray pours in 32, so Joker and Murray combining for 62, but it was not enough. Durant and Booker special tonight in the desert. Suns get the win, 121-14. They cut the series lead 2-1. Game 4 coming up here this weekend on Sunday. Now let's go ahead and bring in CBS Sports basketball analyst, NBA analyst Colin Ward-Henniger. And Colin, you look at it, man, Kevin Durant and Devin Booker combining for 86. How about Book going for 47? The Suns, back and forth game here. They end the second quarter on a 34-15 run, take control. Suns gave up the lead, and then it was a 14-0 run, late third into the fourth. They take control, get the lead by 11, and then they hang on towards the end. They did it without CB3 with the groin strain there. How big of a game was this for Devin Booker to lead the Suns and get them back into the series in a must-win situation?
Yeah, this was the I'm putting you on my back to win this game effort from Devin Booker. I mean, 47 points. Yeah, he's done that before. It's incredible. 20 for 25 from the field. That just does not happen. in the postseason, particularly on a Suns team where the Denver Nuggets know the only people who are going to score are Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. With DeAndre Ayton having a terrible game, it was really all Booker and Durant. Durant didn't even start the game shooting the ball well, so it was really up to Booker. So to perform and make the type of shots that he made, he didn't go to the free throw line until the very end of the game when he was just getting fouled at the end of the game. So Booker was simply phenomenal. There's really not enough you can say about him, and he's been great throughout these playoffs. Depending on how the Phoenix Suns continue in this series and potentially on into the conference finals and maybe even the finals, Devin Booker could have his, his status as a superstar in this league elevated a few notches based on his postseason performance so far this year.
Yeah, coming in, Devin Booker was averaging over 30 points in this series, goes for 47. He told his teammates after game 2, he said he assured them the series was not over and it was far from over. He went ahead and proved that on Friday night. When you look at his game, though, the way he was efficient, you talked about the field goals that he hit. How important was that with CP3 out that, look, the Suns, they had no choice but to lean on him, and he still came through, Colin?
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't even mention that Chris Paul was out for this game, and Cam Payne took his place and did an admirable job, but he is not Chris Paul in terms of being a game manager, being a guy who can run that pick and roll. That was some of the only success that the Phoenix Suns were having against the Nuggets in the pick and roll was with Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton. So with him out, that really left Booker to create all of his own offense. He was coming off of picks and raising up for jumpers. He was also getting into isolation where he wasn't even using a pick. He was just kind of dribbling up the court, pulling up and knocking down the shots, getting to his spots. So he would argue that he should have had more than a couple of free throws in this game. And he was doing everything that he possibly could, not only knocking down jump shots, but also getting into the paint and scoring that way. So he needed to be everything. He also had a lot of assists because he needed to be a playmaker as well with Chris Paul out. So again, you just can't say enough about what Devin Booker did. The question is he going to be able to do that over and over in this series? Because that seems to be what the Suns need.
Colin, it's going to be hard to count on KD and Book to give you 86 every single game going forward. Let's look back here with the Phoenix Suns. Had the lead here in the fourth quarter where we talked about that 14-0 run late in the third going into the fourth. DeAndre Ayton only had 4 points. He talked about he needed to be more physical and challenge Joker more often in the first 2 games. Did not do that. Struggled here in the fourth quarter. Got benched there the last 5 minutes of the game there. Any concern there with DeAndre Ayton and the team going small? Is that a good thing for Phoenix going small? They're putting in TJ Warren, someone like that for the Phoenix Suns.
Yeah, there's a lot of concern for the Phoenix Suns. Not only the way that DeAndre Ayton played this game, but the way he's played in this series. Coming into the series, there was a lot of talk that, Jokic has said in the past that DeAndre Ayton defends him as well as anyone in the league. So there was optimism